A lot of good things like major breakthroughs in medicine, science, and technology that could save lives, but it's not all good news. Advanced AI could also create serious problems if we're not careful. Millions of Americans could lose their jobs to automation. Terrorist groups could use AI to build dangerous new weapons, and the Chinese government could steal American AI and use it to tighten its grip on power and try to dominate the globe. In the worst case scenario, advanced AI could even become smarter than people and replace us someday. That's why we're starting the Alliance for Secure AI. We are dedicated to protecting America's future and teaching people about the risks that come with advanced AI. Join us by visiting our website at secureainow.org. Paid for by the Alliance for Secure AI. Is on last night's show.
Been so long, and you are on again tonight too, where so more good reviews to come.
Wait, that's news to me. Am I on today?
Aren't you?
I don't think so.
Oh, hey, well, nobody tells me anything. I could be wrong again. Well, listen, to bomb or not to bomb Iran, nuclear weapons, nothing big going on here.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station.
Making sense of the news.
News Talk 105.9. News now.
WMAL News at 9. Good morning. I'm John Matthews. Virginia's primary election night was strictly a Democratic affair in statewide races, with the GOP slate already set. In the race for Attorney General, a tight win for Norfolk delegate Jay Jones over Shannon Taylor.
Now is our time. It's time to get Virginia back on track. It's time to get Democrats elected. Let's go do this thing. Thank you, guys, and God bless every single one of you. This is for you.
Jones will challenge incumbent Republican Jason Miyares in November. In the race for Lieutenant Governor,
It is a dead heat between State Senator Ghazala Hashmi and former Richmond Mayor LeVar Stoney. And right behind is State Senator Aaron Rouse. Now, Hashmi has declared victory, but the race has not officially been called yet. Now, the winner will go on to face Republican John Reed in the general election.
7 News' Adam Longo won local race of note. Incumbent Takis Karantonis beat challenger James DeVita in his re-election bid to remain on the Arlington County Board. Karantonis will face independent challengers in November. A woman was struck and killed by a large truck that was hauling a military tank from the weekend parade out of D.C.
The crash happened Monday night near New York Avenue and Bladensburg Road in Northeast. Police say 39-year-old Sierra Nicole Smith ran into the road, stumbled, and fell in front of that semi that was hauling a tank. Police say she was pinned underneath the semi and then hit by a Chevy Suburban. Police say the drivers stayed on the scene. We're told there's no indication at this point that either of them were at fault.
D.C.'s mayor is looking to expand the city's summer teen curfew to keep those roving groups of teens from causing trouble.
While announcing a teen curfew at the Wharf for Memorial Day weekend, Mayor Muriel Bowser said,
"We will work together with our entire community to change the negative behaviors that we're seeing."
She introduced emergency legislation that would set a citywide 11 p.m. curfew for teens 17 and under in July and August. The current summer curfew starts at midnight and only applies to people 16 and younger. The legislation would also allow police to set up extended curfew zones where the curfew would start at 7 p.m. Heather Curtis on WMAL and WMAL.com.
Elias Rodriguez, the man accused of gunning down 2 Israeli embassy employees in D.C. last month, is due in court today.
Today's proceeding will be his preliminary hearing. Rodriguez is charged with 5 counts, including first-degree murder, causing death by use of a firearm, and firing a gun during a crime of violence. If convicted, Rodriguez faces life in prison. FBI investigators called it a targeted attack against 2 people who were planning to get engaged. That according to Israel's ambassador to the U.S., Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Putting them on city streets is one thing, but should there be bike lanes on a future Chesapeake Bay bridge?
Like AAA President John Cornyn has addressed a petition in support of including a shared use path separated by a physical barrier, noting
Chesapeake Bay is such an iconic destination. What better way to experience it than up close and personal on foot or on bike?
Cornyn says it would help with tourism and traffic, and the lane
would also be available for use by emergency vehicles.
Scott Lynn on WMAL and WMAL.com.
It should be noted the state is looking to build 8 to 10 car lanes for any future bridge, as opposed to the current 5 lanes of traffic. The Dow futures up 30 points, NASDAQ futures up 43. Up next, traffic and weather on WMAL.
Here's a brief message from industry. This ad is brought to you by GSK. We invite you to visit hcp-myelofibrosis-treatment.com to explore data and resources. That's hcp-myelofibrosis-treatment.com.
Thanks for listening to the message from industry.
Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting radio-exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
Thumbtack presents Project Paralysis. I was cornered. Sweat gathered above my furrowed brow, and my mind was racing. I wondered who would be left standing when the droplets fell, me or the clogged sink. Drain cleaner and pipe snake clenched in my weary fist, I stepped toward the sink and then, wait, why am I stressing? I have Thumbtack. I can easily search for a top-rated plumber, read reviews, and compare prices, all on the app. Thumbtack knows homes. Download the app today.
Steve Hirshhorn in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
395 northbound is still very heavy from the Beltway up to Washington Boulevard and then across the 14th Street Bridge into town across the freeway toward the 3rd Street Tunnel. In the express lanes of 395 northbound, the accident activity is after 110 before you get to the George Washington Parkway. That's still blocking one left lane. Inner loop of the Beltway still very heavy from Springfield up to Gallows Road, and after that from 66 up to Georgetown Pike. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Skies will become partly cloudy. It'll be hot and very humid today. Afternoon highs in the upper 80s to lower 90s, but we will be tracking scattered showers and thunderstorms developing through the afternoon and evening. Tomorrow, hot and humid again. Highs in the lower 90s. Severe storms likely for your Thursday afternoon and evening. I'm 7 News DC's Eileen Whalen.
Right now, it is 76 at Reagan National. I'm John Matthews. News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. Chris Plant.
Can we get rid of this Ayatollah t-shirt? Khomeini died years ago.
But Mark, it works on any Ayatollah. Ayatollah Nakbada, Ayatollah Zahedi. Even as we speak, Ayatollah Razmara and his cadre of fanatics are consolidating their power.
I don't care who's consolidating their power.
She doesn't care who's consolidating their power. Well, we should get back to the Simpsons and ask them what they think about, the possibility, at least, of President Trump dropping bombs on Iran's nuclear facilities. The topic of some discussion in our nation's capital overnight. You know, the scuttlebutt was everywhere that stay tuned last night. President Trump is going to drop bombs. B-2 bombers are going to fly out of White Man Air Force Base in Missouri, fly nonstop, refueling in flight repeatedly to drop some 30,000-pound bunker buster bombs onto Fordow and maybe Natanz, but Fordow for sure. These Iranian nuclear facilities. It did not happen yet. There is an aircraft carrier battle group in place. The USS Carl Vinson is the aircraft carrier, surrounded by a phalanx of United States naval ships capable of firing all kinds of missiles, cruise missiles, and all kinds of good stuff. And a lot of back and forth on this. Did you see the Tucker Carlson, I think it would be fair to say, versus Ted Cruz, Senator Ted Cruz? I like them both very much. They had a lively back and forth on the subject, and I will share that with you. And I have some thoughts myself when it comes to the U.S. entering the fray here in the war between Israel and Iran. having to do only with nuclear weapons in the hands of radical Islamic jihadis, the Ayatollahs, fueled and funded by Barack Hussein Obama and the Democrat Party. Lunch bucket Joe Biden was allegedly vice president at the time, although he may not have known it. And I've got a lot to say about all that war, peace, mayhem. And I've actually been inside of a B-2 bomber and at Whiteman Air Force Base, and I've been up in refueling tankers, refueling airplanes up in the air when B-2 bombers came up to refuel in flight. And I was down in the bay where beneath the plane, in the belly of the plane, where the man in charge of controlling the boom that refuels the B-2 bombers. I'll get into all that. And this morning I was marveling at a number of Democrat Party things because they provide me with way too much stuff. I've got to say, lots and lots of crazy stuff. Like in Washington, D.C., where the radical left-wing Democrat mayor is now announcing, we're going to have an expanded juvenile curfew because of what they are referring to as youth violence. Youth violence. That's violence being perpetrated by their kids. The problem is not our guns, it's their sons. And that is the problem. But the left-wing radical mayor in Washington, D.C., our nation's capital, Democrat, Muriel Bowser, Bowser. She was one of the singers in Sha Na Na. She was the guy that rolled up the sleeves on the white T-shirt. I think that was her. Mayor Muriel Bowser is proposing an expansion of D.C.'s juvenile curfew to address youth violence during the summer months. They much prefer violence in the spring and the fall and even the wintertime, but not the summer so much. So they might have to start restricting the violence just in the summertime, and then maybe, raise your kids. Oh, sorry, too late for that. So announced her intention to submit an emergency legislation plan to the D.C. City Council filled with mental cases and most of them dwarves suffering from intellectual dwarfism that would extend the current curfew to include all minors under the age of 18. As to say, it would include 17-year-olds, but if you're 18 years old, the curfew doesn't apply to you. Everybody under 18, the curfew would apply to them because of all the shootings and the robberies and the theft and the smash and grabs, because Democrats raise criminals. And what was the ratio in Washington, D.C. on Election Day last time around? The Democrats voted 97% or something for Kamala Harris, and before that for Joe Biden, and before that for Mao Zedong, I think it was. So new legislation, all minors under the age of 18. The measure would apply from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m., 7 days a week. No days off. You don't get Tuesday night or Sunday night or anything like that. Through June, July, and August. Here she comes. It's a big curfew. And our mayor, she's out there talking about it, and she's a Democrat, so she knows what she's doing. She knows crime.
We have seen some concerning trends with how our young people are socializing, and those changes in behavior also require us to change our posture.
Got to change our posture. And then she suddenly stood up straight. And then amazing. Now, I was marveling at this because in Los Angeles, they have an idiot Democrat mayor too, but I'll get to that in a moment before we get to dropping bunker busters on Iranian nuclear facilities. But here's my mayor. I didn't vote for her, of course, although I did vote for Marion Barry back when I had the opportunity. He was a lot more fun to vote for, I've got to say. I voted for him every chance I got. He set back statehood by decades all by himself. But he did smoke crack with Hunter Biden in Georgetown. So keep that in mind, because Democrats, now they are. Muriel Bowser.
We know that young people want to be around one another. That's
they want to be
how
around.
Teenagers are.
That's how they
It's
are.
the nature of teenagers.
Not other
Some
people.
of them are breaking the law, however.
Have you
and
noticed
others of them
I
are
noticed that.
doing menacing behaviors and activities around the city.
Yeah, because activities around the city. She's talking about, there are like 950 carjackings, I think, in the District of Columbia. Small city, only 700,000 people. Tehran, for example, 9.5 million people. Washington, D.C., about 700,000 people. Mayor Muriel Bow Wow Wowzer.
MPD has been flexible and resourced enough to adjust their posture, often weekend by weekend, night by night. But we need and we will work together with our entire community to change the negative behaviors that we're seeing from some of our young people.
Negative behaviors. You're raising a passel of criminals who, burn and loot and shoot. And did she say, what was the word that she used? Flexible? She wants to be flexible? Is that
MPD has been flexible.
Flexible. Is that like being black and flexible at the same time? Flexible? You've heard of Blexit. I've heard of Blexit, black people leaving the Democrat Party, exiting the Democrat Party. That's Blexit. So flexible must be black people being flexible.
MPD has been flexible.
I'm reminded of Simone Biles when I think about that. She's flexible, I think. Don't you think? So I heard that, and so now hopefully that will cut down on crime. I heard Virginia Attorney General, the great Jason Miyares, being interviewed this morning on the WML radio in Washington, D.C., on my friend Larry O'Connor's excellent radio broadcast. And he's talking about how he has been able to reduce the number of homicides very, very significantly in the state by targeting high crime areas with law enforcement. Wow. Why didn't I think of that? And isn't that crazy? And reducing very dramatically the number of fatal drug overdoses in Virginia, the Commonwealth. And the Democrats, they're running a left-wing radical who will lead to, if he were to be elected by idiot Democrats, then the number of homicides would skyrocket under this radical left-wing Democrat. And the number of fatal drug overdoses would skyrocket, and then the Democrats would blame somebody else. And they'd be very angry about it, and they might have to burn down a Jew's house or something like that, because that's who the Democrats are. Now to Los Angeles, California, where the New York Times is very excited. Mayor Karen Bass, another radical left-wing Democrat racist who hates America and elected by Democrats. Mayor Karen Bass lifts curfew in downtown L.A. It's only downtown. It's not where they live, not where all the rich Democrats live, just downtown. They got a curfew there. And KTLA in Los Angeles, immigration protest curfew. That's what they're calling it there, an immigration protest curfew. Lifted in downtown Los Angeles. Now, I thought this was pretty funny yesterday because Mayor Karen Bass, they announced yesterday afternoon, was going to lift the downtown LA curfew that was put in place to quell protest violence. They say protest violence. And you know what? It worked. And she said, wait a minute, we put this curfew in place and the violence has plummeted. Let's get rid of that curfew because we need to restore the violence levels that existed previous to the curfew. Let's make sure that whatever we do leads to more violence, lots more violence. So that's what Democrat Karen Bass is doing there. She's an extremist. She was a member of the House of Representatives. And then she said, I think I'd rather be mayor of LA. I can, think globally, but wreck locally. And that's what the left is doing now, firebombing the world, starting with our country. And then they'll move on because they're the left. The LAist, Mayor Karen Bass has lifted the curfew for downtown Los Angeles 7 days after it was imposed in response to the violence and vandalism that broke out after demonstrations to protest immigration enforcement sweeps. So law enforcement was enforcing the law, and the Democrat Party decided that mob violence, Visigoth style, was the appropriate response. And so they attacked violently, and they have elected officials attacking law enforcement all over the place. The move comes 1 day after Bass shortened the overnight curfew by 2 hours. That ought to do it. So that's good. And the curfew effect, officials said that the curfew was effective in curbing violence and vandalism. And that's why they had to get rid of it. So you say, you know what? Hey, wait, in 7 days, look at this, it's almost overnight. It's been effective curbing violence and vandalism. So the Democrat mayor said, let's get rid of that curfew. It works. We don't do anything that works, not in a positive way. It's been a challenge for bars and restaurants, this writing says, which have had to reduce hours because the curfew, you see. And Savannah Parsons, shift leader at Yaku's Kitchen, told LAS that moving forward, I'm sure we'll be opening till regular hours again. That's good. But what they discovered was that their curfew was very effective in curbing violence and vandalism. And so as soon as they discovered that, they had to put an end to the curfew in order to restore violence and vandalism to Los Angeles, because the Democrat Party is a violent party. And speaking of the violent Democrat Party, it was the Obama-Biden administration that fueled Iran's nuclear weapons program, allowing them under the JCPOS, the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Beep, and the Democrats, they sat down with Iran and they said, oh, sure, you can spin centrifuges in secret underground facilities that are bomb-proof. You can enrich uranium to a level that is only necessary for the construction of nuclear weapons, which you have already promised to use against Israel and the Jewish people, which you promised to wipe off the face of the earth from the river to the sea. But the Democrats chant from the river to the sea in the United States now, especially at Ivy League campuses, but not exclusively on Ivy League campuses. And the Democrats there, they should be wearing armbands and goose-stepping everywhere they go, given that they firebombed the Jewish Pennsylvania governor's mansion with the governor inside with his family during Passover, shortly after Seder dinner. But never mind that. The Democrats, they're not the good guys. Oh, yeah, the Egyptian that Joe Biden and the Democrats waved into the country, and his expired visa was no problem with Joe Biden and the Democrats. And the Egyptian that attacked the Jewish march, the pro-Israel march in Boulder, Colorado, and he set fire to an 88-year-old Holocaust survivor. He did that in Colorado. The news media decided that wasn't a big story. He's due in court today. The Egyptian is due in court today. I assume the Democrats will be outside cheering him like they were yesterday with that murder lady in Massachusetts, like they are outside when Luigi Mangione ever appears. They love murder. They love murderers because they're the Democrat Party. Aren't they amazing? Hey, and wait a minute, this curfew worked. It reduced crime and vandalism, so let's get rid of the curfew. All right, now look, I've got a lot to say. President Trump and the stories that he may be on the precipice of entering militarily the war between Israel and Iran, and the rhetoric has dialed up, of course, from the troglodytes and some of President Trump's colorful rhetoric, too. I'm getting texts about this from people that don't normally pay attention to politics and all this Washington stuff, saying, hey, is President Trump really going to drop bombs on Iran and get into this militarily? Didn't he say he wouldn't get us entangled in far-off, never-ending wars? Well, I've got all that coming up, and some opinions and some sound bites for you. We are at 888-630-9625.
There's only one Chris Plant. The Chris Plant Show. News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
WMAL traffic from the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center of Steve Hirshhorn around the Beltway, the outer loop. Still very slow, 95 in College Park around to Georgia Avenue in Silver Spring. Then you slow again, leaving Montgomery County from the exit from northbound 270 past Old Georgetown Road in the 270 spur across the bridge down toward the George Washington Parkway. However, it is also pretty slow just after the Springfield interchange toward Eisenhower Avenue. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Humid with scattered afternoon thunderstorms and a high of 92. More storms and showers possible tonight, clearing late, low 75.
What would you do if your online store converted 36% more shoppers? You could take 36% more vacation.
Another pina colada?
Yes, please. Open a new retail location with 36% more square feet.
Fantastic.
Hire 36% more help.
You're hired and you're hired.
Shopify has the world's best converting checkout, up to 36% better than other e-commerce platforms. What you do with those extra sales is up to you. Switch to Shopify today at shopify.com/Westwood1 and get a $1 trial. Shopify.com/Westwood1. Westwood One.
Oh. You may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get cakes and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting radio-exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text water to 64,000. That's water to 64,000.
You're right, Dwayne. See them fucking sausage fingers? See that fucking fist right there? That'll fucking be like a ham hitting you. A fucking 16-pound ham. You're a chicken shit, DA. You jumped on the bandwagon at JC's. All the credit goes to Wolfie. She come up on my panel the other night when Rocky was up here. I was gonna say her name, but I didn't want to give it away. You know what I mean? If I guessed right, I had a pretty good feeling it was her. I mean, it can only be a certain number of people. And I have no doubt that Wolfie looks at Tammy and just, runs the other way. Get the fuck out of the way of this bitch. Fucking skanky bitch you are, Tammy. JC won't tell you, but I will. You're a fucking skank. You know it. You ain't got the fucking womanhood to come up here, Tammy. Take me on my own panel. Come on, bitch. I dare you. Bring Dwayne with you. Dwayne thinks he fucking destroyed you all by himself. What a dumb fuck. FDU, you guys are nothing but a bunch of cocksuckers sucking each other's asses. FDU, FDU, the strike force, that's what they called the UFC, some tournament they had back in the 90s, strike force.
I'm Richard Carr.
And then there was a strike force on wrestling also.
Expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket
You haven't had one original ID there, fucking DA.
But the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees.
My meter reads 4. Somebody's watching.
All around your home. When you're all done,
because you're always commenting later about what happened up on my fucking panel and in my chat.
Your super light and ultra durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year.
Come on up and discuss politics with me, DA. I got a question I know you can't answer.
Just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of
about politics.
Copperhead hose. Just text water to 64,000. That's water to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from
I got a squirrel staring me down through the window.
AL, making sense of the economy because it's your money and your retirement. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
Now, Ilhan Omar, I was playing some Ilhan Omar. She's a radical. She's pro-Iran and anti-American. She's an Islamist, and she's closer to being a terrorist than a patriotic American, which makes her perfect for the Democrat House of Representatives. They're breathtaking, these people. And today is Mailbag Day. Today is Mailbag Day here on the Chris Plante Show, which, you know what that means? It's Hump Day in the Clinton household. And Hillary Clinton wakes up once again face down in a pool of her own dried vomit on one of the many large, expensive linoleum kitchen floors she has in their large mansions, whichever multi-million-dollar mansion she wakes up in, face down in a pool of her own dried vomit with an empty 1-gallon cardboard box of cheap New Zealand Chardonnay next to her as the Secret Service shakes their heads, knuckles on their hips. Oh, so sad, what might have been, but never will be. Ha, 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 ha. Hillary Clinton. What a tragic story she is. And she, And Bill Clinton, he gets the house to himself because the Energizer might come over, or whoever it is now. And the Secret Service knows it, wink and a nod. They're not there to narc him out. They're there to provide protection, but never mind that. And that also means that here on the Chris Plant Show, what does that mean? It means it's Mailbag Day. Mailbag Day. That's right. And I've got, I just give you a little clue on the mailbag. Have you ever been to a Diddy freak-off? Have you ever been to a Diddy, like P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, a freak-off? Ever been? So I just want to scratch the surface on the mailbag because that's one of the questions for today. And I have more right here in my hand because it's Mailbag Day. Mailbag Day. It's not Mailbag Day in Iran, though. It's very different in Iran. And President Trump and the Ayatollah, not the one of rock and rolla, but the other one, having a lively back and forth, a very expressive verbal back and forth. And where do you hear this back and forth, speaking of back and forth, between the great Senator Ted Cruz and the great Tucker Carlson, a back and forth, not on the same side of this, the idea of dropping big bombs on Iranian nuclear facilities, that is coming up.
This is the Chris Plant Show. News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
WMAL traffic from the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center. I'm Steve Hirshhorn. We're in the inner loop of the Beltway northbound, still pretty heavy from I-66 up to Georgetown Pike. Inner loop is slow in Maryland from 95 in College Park down to Route 450, and after that from 202 down to 214. Outer loop still heavy from College Park to Silver Spring, and from 270 across the Legion Bridge. Just a heavy volume. Fortunately, no accidents or incidents to complicate that. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Hot and humid with scattered afternoon thunderstorms and a high of 92. More storms and showers possible tonight, clearing late, low 75.
Everything from clothing to household items are getting more expensive each day. The world of fast fashion has complicated clothing production by outsourcing around the world to whoever can sew them the cheapest. And now you, the consumer, are paying the price with rising costs. American Giant is about keeping things simple and close to home. They aren't affected by tariffs because their products never leave the U.S. So when you buy from American Giant, you're taking a stand for hardworking people, local communities, and quality clothes. American Giant directly supports American manufacturers and ensures you aren't footing that tariff bill. Support American-made, tariff-free clothing with American Giant with American Giant. Get 20% off your first order when you use promo code STAPLE20 at American-Giant.com. That's 20% off when you use code STAPLE20 at American-Giant.com.
From taco night in Tulum to sushi in Tokyo, make every bite rewarding with gold from Amex. Wherever you dine, 4 times the membership rewards points at restaurants worldwide are piling up. Learn more at americanexpress.com/explore-gold. Terms and points cap apply.
Here's a brief message from industry. This ad is brought to you by GSK. We invite you to visit hcp-myelofibrosis-treatment.com to explore data and resources. That's hcp-myelofibrosis-treatment.com. Thanks for listening to the message from industry.
Stop by Sherwin-Williams and get 30% off select paints and stains June 13th through the 23rd. It's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Refresh your home inside and out with colors that make every space feel brand new. From cozy interiors to stunning exteriors, we've got the perfect shade for your next project. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
U.S. soccer fans, get closer to the players, voices, and stories of the beautiful game with the U.S. Soccer Podcast. Megan Klingenberg, Alejandro Bedoya, and host David Gass bring you behind-the-scenes access to U.S. Soccer's 27 national teams, including exclusive interviews, stories, and spotlights. The U.S. Soccer Podcast is out now. Find it wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hi, I'm Vince Callanes, host of The Vince Show and Vince Podcast. It's a show with an obsessive focus on what's good for America. I'll give you the truth beneath the headlines of all of the nation's top stories. The Vince Show is redefining news talk with in-depth interviews, live caller interactions, and a front row seat to the most important conversations of the day, every day. The Vince Show and Vince Podcast.
WMAL's Vince Callanes, weekdays at noon. News Talk 105.9. WMAL, making sense of the news.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting radio-exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
WMAL, making sense of the markets. Because generational wealth doesn't build itself. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
All right, so dropping bombs on Muslims, Iranians, terrorists, the type. And I've got a lot of that for you. And I want to start sharing because I always collect lots and lots of audio sound bites to share with you. And sometimes I don't get to them all. And Michael's rolling his eyes at me because he spends a lot of time collecting these audio sound bites. And then I just start talking and how this goes. All right, let's get to, because these Iranians, let's start with this. They're radical Islamic terrorists. That from the biggest leader in the country, the Ayatollah Khamenei. Pardon me, you get me on you? Anytime you pronounce the Khamenei, you should maybe put up a shield of some kind, a splash shield like you find at a salad bar, that kind of thing. I wonder if they invented the splash shield of the salad bar, given all the words in Farsi where you have to say khem, like, pardon me. God for that. I didn't mean to. I'm so sorry. So we got that. And now, again, last night I was at Newsmax yesterday afternoon, and we were talking about Iran and what might happen. We were saying yesterday, well, tonight, the bombs could be dropping. And one of the things I said when we were discussing it was, I said, I'm not so sure. I think maybe this is President Trump and the art of the deal, the international art of the deal, or the art of the international deal, whichever you may prefer. And as this President Trump negotiating, he's trying to get Iran to come to the table. And now he's calling on Iran to surrender unconditionally, like Japan in 1945. And President Trump is a no-nonsense guy. He's not kidding. And when he says something, you should take it seriously and take him at his word. Now, at the same time, he might be rattling the saber a bit. And President Trump has his own social media platform called Truth. He wrote on Truth, and this actually was night before last now. He wrote, Iran should have signed the deal. He put the word deal in quotation marks. I told them to sign. Should have signed the deal I told them to sign. What a shame and waste of human life. Simply stated, now in all caps, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I said it over and over again. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. Now, that is kind of, I saw that, and I've got to say I laughed when I saw that night before last. I said, well, Tehran is a city of 9.5 million people. If you include the surrounding population, densely populated area, we're talking about 14 million people. That's a lot of people, 14 million people. And the truth is, some people started evacuating. The highways were thick with cars with their headlights on in the dark. And say, oh, look, people are evacuating Tehran. Now, I don't think that we, the United States, are looking at dropping anything in the city of Tehran, bomb-wise. Israel is, they've got selected targets in Tehran. President Trump also said that we, the United States, we know exactly where the supreme leader is. That's actually, interestingly, that's my title around the radio station here, as a supreme leader. Kind of a little dictatorial, but I like it. And the supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, pardon me again, and said, well, we know where he is, so we could drop a bomb on his kufi, on his turban, and he'd be gone. And Israel knows where he is, too. And Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister, spoke to President Trump several days ago now, said, hey, we know where the Ayatollah is. Should we put the zap on him? And President Trump said, no, don't do that. I'm still trying to cut a deal with these clowns. And after we take out Fordow, this nuclear facility, which I am thinking, I don't want to say I'm concerned but I'm thinking that President Trump may have his eye on this Fordow nuclear facility built deep underground. And we have 30,000-pound bunker buster bombs that could be dropped from B-2 stealth bombers that would blow it up real good. I believe each of these B-2 stealth bombers can carry 2 of the giant 30,000-pound bombs, which I believe are made in Florida at an Air Force base there. But that's not important now. And the B-2 bombers would fly nonstop from Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri, where I have been, not for quite some time, to visit B-2 bombers and to climb into the cockpit of a B-2 bomber. The bomber I got into was the Spirit of Texas. The B-2 bomber is called the Spirit, that's its name. And I think we've built 22 of them, and each of them has the name of a state on them because of politics, largely, and funding. But never mind that. And the B-2 bombers could leave, fly, refuel in flight. And again, I've been up in refueling tankers. I think it was a KC-135, which is a Boeing 707. As B-2, while airborne, B-2 bombers come up and you refuel the B-2 bombers in flight. And then they peel off as you fly along steadily in your KC-135. And that was a fun day at work, I've got to say. And down on the ground in the hangars, the climate-controlled hangars at Whiteman Air Force Base, up to a B-2 bomber, where there are signs around the B-2 bomber. Signs around the B-2 bomber that say, deadly force authorized, no trespassing. And if you start running, you're a liberal, and you start running at the B-2 bomber, they'll shoot you and kill you, which, is a reasonable thing to do under the circumstances. But in any case, President Trump said, Iran should have signed the deal I told them to sign. What a shame, waste of human life. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. And I said it over and over again. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. That made me laugh. And then President Trump also tweeted, we know exactly where the so-called supreme leader is hiding. He put supreme leader in quotation marks. He's an easy target, but is safe there where he is now because we know where he is. This is psychological warfare designed to freak him out. We are not going to take him out, and then in parentheses, kill with an exclamation mark. At least not for now. But we don't want missiles shot at civilians or American soldiers. Our patience is wearing thin. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I like that. It's like it's an announcement aboard your airplane, like you're on United Airlines. Thank you for your attention to this matter. TSA announcement. And the Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance, I got to say, yesterday I was driving in Washington, D.C. What time was it? About 5:30. And I was cut off by it was a motorcade, of course, which happens in Washington. But I believe that it was J.D. Vance that drove by in the motorcade. It's almost not quite a presidential motorcade, but it's pretty big. And I believe it was J.D. Vance drove by. I had to stop, and that's okay. And then the motorcade went by, and then I had to go through a red light because it's D.C. And they said, now they'll mail me a ticket. They'll mail me a ticket for that. I got one of those 2 days ago for speeding by the Russian embassy again. I don't want to stay there. Too many Russians, too many communists. But in any case, J.D. Vance, whose motorcade I was stopped in traffic by yesterday, the perils of living in Washington. J.D. Vance tweeted, or on Truth Social, said, I wanted to address some things directly on the Iran issue, said J.D. Vance. First, POTUS, the President of the United States, has been amazingly consistent over 10 years that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Second, I've seen a lot of confusion over the issue of civilian nuclear power and uranium enrichment. These are distinct issues, he said, and that's a fact. Iran could have civilian nuclear power without enrichment, but Iran rejected that. And of course, people are right to be worried about foreign entanglements after the last 25 years of idiotic foreign policy. Now, that's a shot taken at Republicans and Democrats, and fairly so, I've got to say. But J.D. Vance, people are, of course, right to be worried about foreign entanglements, and President Trump has been quite clear about not wanting to become involved in stupid foreign military entanglements that go on forever and ever. In fact, we've got a couple of sound bites. Where are those sound bites, Michael? They're in our soundbite list of sound bites, I think, aren't they, today? And President Trump has said a number of things. Then I want to get to Tucker Carlson and Ted Cruz with their back and forth yesterday. But President Trump has been perfectly clear, I think, October 18th of 2020. This is, he's running this is when Joe Biden won with communist Chinese interference with printing up tens of thousands of driver's licenses to get people to vote mail-in, using mail-in ballots. And then you may be aware that President Trump in 2020 won the in-person vote in all 50 states. And amazingly, Joe Biden won the mail-in ballot vote in all 50 states. That's kind of coincidental. But during that campaign, October 18th of 2020, President Trump, I thought, made himself pretty clear.
We will keep America out of endless, ridiculous foreign wars of places you've never even heard of. We will maintain America's unrivaled military might, and we will ensure peace through strength.
And then that seems pretty clear, and the crowd loved it, and I think America loved it, and enough of all that stuff, especially with the Arab world and the Islamic world. Iran is, of course, not the Arab world; it's Persia. They're not ethnic Arabs, and interesting stuff. Then President Trump, October of last year, when he is running for president for the third time, which doesn't happen every day, but October of last year, President Trump.
When I return to the White House, I will stop the wild and wasteful spending of this administration. I will end the endless wars. They never stop. Again, we had no wars. We had no new wars under your favorite president, President Trump. We had no new wars. They thought I was going to start a war. Let me tell you something. I'm going to stop World War III because we're closer to World War III than we've ever been since the end of World War II.
I'm going to stop World War III. Now that becomes, I had to say, from the Situation Room in the White House to the war room. I like to call it the war room in the Pentagon, beneath the Pentagon, under the Pentagon, the Joint Chiefs of Staff meeting. I'd love to be on these conversations because the question becomes, how do you stop World War III? By not bombing Iran's nuclear facility or by bombing Iran's nuclear facility? which course of action is more likely to avert World War III, if you want to call it that. We're kind of in the middle of World War III and have been for 20-something years. And you might even say the Cold War was World War III, and then the Islamic War is World War IV. But that's not important now. President Trump this year in April with the Italian Prime Minister, who's a ton of fun, Giorgia Meloni, the one who went and got Joe Biden when he wandered off talking to the paratrooper. And she's like, hey, come over here. There's an international meeting going on. See if you can join us.
I know the Iranian people. They're incredible people. Always have been very smart, very energetic, very successful people. And I don't want to do anything that's going to hurt anybody. I really don't. But Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. It's, pretty simple. It's really simple.
But Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. It's simple. It's really simple. I agree with that. I think if Iran has nuclear weapons, very different than even North Korea having nuclear weapons. Radical Islamic jihadi terrorists that blow up any hostages. They're born of a crime in 1979. The religious fanaticism is a death cult, and a death cult with nuclear weapons and ballistic missiles, including potentially intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs. That would change the geometry of the world. The political and military geometry of the world would change overnight. I just snapped my fingers. It would change like that. Let's grab a phone call, Michael, before we get out. I'm going to take you to Tucker Carlson and Senator Ted Cruz with a back and forth that was not a happy back and forth on this subject. Let's go to Robert calling from South Carolina. Robert, you're on the Chris Plante Show.
Hey, good morning, Chris. Love your show. Long-time listener. First-time caller, I believe. Hey, listen.
Thank you.
So Congress approved the Lend-Lease Act for Ukraine. Why can't we get them to approve that for Israel and just lend them a couple of B-2 bombers? Then we're out of it, right? What do you think?
It's a fun question, except B-2 bombers are very specialized aircraft. They can't just land anywhere, and you need specific ground maintenance capability. And the pilots, it's a $2 billion airplane, so you don't want to just let any of your pals fly it around and drop bombs. A lot of specialized training. But I like your thinking, though. And if we could give them the 30,000-pound bunker busters, and if they could drop them from F-15s or something, then done deal. But you can't do that. I do like your Lend-Lease thinking, though.
Thanks, Chris. I appreciate what you do.
Well, thank you, buddy. And listen, I understand what you're saying. That's a big conversation. I promise you at the Pentagon and at Whiteman Air Force Base, where these guys who would be flying the mission are thinking, well, Israel's doing a good job of bombing the important targets. Why don't we let them take this for us? And then the question becomes, can they? Are they in a position to do that? And again, I'm not in that lane anymore, but I'd have to ask a lot of questions. I don't think that we could train them up and say, take our $2 billion B-2 stealth bomber, and you're going to need 2 of them for this mission, and each of them dropping 2 bunker buster bombs, 30,000-pound bombs, the maximum yield from these conventional bombs. But there's a lot more to say about this. And listen, Robert, I appreciate your question fully. And I want you to listen to Senator Ted Cruz and Tucker Carlson, the lively back and forth they had on this subject. And then I've got some ideas of my own.
You're listening to The Chris Plante Show. News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
WMAL traffic from the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center. I'm Steve Burshorn. On the outer loop at the Beltway, the roadworks set up again today after Carter Rock before the American Legion Bridge in the right lane. The backup begins now on the outer loop at Old Georgetown Road. 95 in Virginia southbound is getting slow from Route 1 in Woodbridge down to 123. Fairfax County Parkway northbound, very slow from Brooks Center Parkway to the construction before Pope's Head Road along the left. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Storm Watch 7 forecast.
Hot and humid with scattered afternoon thunderstorms in a high of 92. More storms and showers possible tonight, clearing late, low 75.
Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting radio exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
For a local news source you can trust, visit WMAL.com.
Thank God for that.
Get the day's top stories, stream your favorite WMAL shows, access our podcast archives, and more. WMAL.com, making sense of your world online.
I'm Brent, and I've been on Nutrafol for almost 5 years now. When my hair first started thinning, I wanted to attack the problem head on. I liked Nutrafol because it was a hair growth supplement that was completely drug-free. After 3 months, my hair got stronger and thicker, which gave a huge boost to my social life. I mean, it was life-changing, to be honest.
Hero starts from the inside at Nutrafol.com. That's Nutrafol.com. Real customers were compensated to share their stories.
When you get hurt at work,
Now I'm going to eat breakfast.
They're researching,
Appetizer.
gathering facts, and doing all they can to help you.
No, I haven't cooked the bacon yet.
They work and you recover.
I got sausage
You
to
focus
cook.
on getting healthy and returning to
I'm
work.
having a bowl of ramen
Are
noodles,
doing the
beef
hard
flavor.
work for you. Ask a friend. Ask your family. Who would they call for help with workers' compensation? Carruthers and Clough. Go to nylawcc.com and contact Carruthers and Clough. We work, you recover.
Get a competitive edge in the workforce. Earn your degree from Jefferson Community College, where a variety of online offerings, in-person and hybrid formats, along with 8 and 15-week classes, allow for the most flexible schedules. Apply today and choose the path to unlocking your potential. Choose Jefferson. Fall semester begins August 25th. Visit sunyjefferson.edu to apply. Jefferson Community College. Your future starts here.
Are you annoyingly inattentive? Do you watch a movie and then ask a zillion questions because you weren't paying attention? Do people ask, how do you sleep at night? Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep. Mattress Firm's July 4th sale is on now. Get a king bed for a queen price and save up to $700. Plus, get a free adjustable base with select Sealy mattresses. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting radio exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
All right, I look forward to sharing with you the Tucker Carlson back and forth with Senator Ted Cruz. Two people deserving of respect, and back and forth on bomb Iran, as Senator John McCain once said long ago. In the meantime, in between time, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Fayed. Fayed calling from Tampa, Florida. Fayed, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Because I come originally from Egypt, when you say this guy, Muhammad from Egypt, is the Egyptian terrorist, it's really not that way. He's not a terrorist because he's an Egyptian. He is a terrorist because he adopted to a culture, to an ideology that nobody knows when it will kick in. It doesn't matter if he's coming from Egypt, from Iran, from even born in the United States. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm nodding in agreement with you.
Yeah. So this is the problem that the Americans or the whole West suffers from is you keep hosting people, you don't know when they will turn against you. Themselves, even they don't know when they will turn against you.
Well, that's true. That's true. Now, this guy, of course,
problem.
You're from Egypt, Fayed, so you know that the Muslim Brotherhood has been banned in Egypt. But this guy adopted the Muslim Brotherhood ethos, and that's where things went bad, right?
Exactly. He wants. He's a family guy. He has 5 children, a wife. He was working in Kuwait. That's hardworking person. But then when the thing triggers into him, this is when the change happens.
Well, that may very well be. I'd say maybe his family should look at being deported too.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now.
WMAL News at 10. Good morning. I'm John Matthews. Some lawmakers are looking to limit President Trump's war powers as the conflict between Israel and Iran escalates.
Democratic Senator Tim Kaine insists that Congress must vote. The Constitution mandates that lawmakers decide if the nation goes to war.
How dare we ask people to make the ultimate sacrifice if we don't have the guts to have a debate and decide whether a war is in the interest of this country.
Some conservatives are skeptical of the president wading into a deeper conflict, but most Republicans give deference to President Trump, allowing him to act. Kaine will force a Senate vote next week.
Fox News' Chad Pergram. Iran's supreme leader has now had something to say about all of this.
The statement from Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was broadcast on Iranian state TV. Khamenei warned any American military involvement would cause irreparable damage to the United States. President Trump saying yesterday that he knows where the Ayatollah is hiding and that his patience is wearing thin. He called for unconditional surrender. The U.S. has also sent more warplanes and warships to the region. Iran's supreme leader said the Iranian nation is not one to surrender. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
New this hour, Montgomery County police say a man was struck and killed early this morning on Route 355 near Indianola Drive in Rockville. The man was dead by the time rescue personnel arrived. The driver fled in a white Honda Accord, and police were able to find him quickly and arrest him not far away. The hit and run is under investigation. No word yet on the names of either the victim or suspect. Primary election night in Virginia saw the Democratic race for lieutenant governor go down to the wire and perhaps into overtime.
State Senator Ghazala Hashmi and former Richmond Mayor LeVar Stoney are neck and neck. Hashmi has claimed victory, but this race hasn't been called just yet. The winner will face the lone Republican candidate in the race, John Reed. For Attorney General, Democrat Jay Jones defeats Shannon Taylor and will face current AG Jason Miyares.
7 News' Jasmine Stiles. As for that Attorney General's race,
Donald Trump and his cronies will spend so much money trying to beat us in November by funding his personal attorney, Jason Miyares.
Jay Jones' victory speech last night while Jason Miyares telling WMAL's O'Connor Company.
I mean, it's a little bit, it's laughable and adorable in a way. He doesn't even know it shows me he doesn't know what the job is. And the job of the Attorney General of Virginia is to be the people's protector.
Adding,
and I really, really look forward to this debate.
Early in-person voting in Virginia begins in September. Barbara Britt, WMAL and WMAL.com.
A Prince William County high school teacher has been arrested and charged with exposing himself while seated at his desk in a classroom at Forest Park High School in Woodbridge 2 weeks ago. Several students reported seeing 40-year-old Koy Dubik in the act and making inappropriate gestures. Dubik was arrested this week following an investigation, charged with 3 counts of indecent liberties by custodian. He's now on leave as the legal case goes forward. Checking your money. The Dow is, what is the Dow doing this morning? The Dow is up 100 points. NASDAQ is up 54. Up next, traffic and weather on WMAL.
Hi, I'm Richard Card, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting radio-exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
Get a competitive edge in the workforce. Earn your degree from Jefferson Community College, where a variety of online offerings, in-person and hybrid formats, along with 8 and 15-week classes, allow for the most flexible schedules. Apply today and choose the path to unlocking your potential. Choose Jefferson. Fall semester begins August 25th. Visit sunyjefferson.edu to apply. Jefferson Community College. Your future starts here.
Packages by Expedia. You were made to be rechargeable. We were made to package flights, hotels, and hammocks for less. Expedia. Made to travel.
Shorn in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
Around the Beltway now on the outer loop, pretty slow up to 450 Annapolis Road up to the Baltimore-Washington Parkway. After that, you're in good shape for a while, then you slow again at Old Georgetown Road over to the work zone before the American Legion Bridge along the right-hand side. Inner loop heading eastbound on 495. You'll find that heavy now from Georgia Avenue over to New Hampshire Avenue. 95 in Virginia southbound is very slow now from Route 1 and Woodbridge down to 123. Fairfax County Parkway northbound in Delaysburg Center Parkway to the construction before Pope's Head Road. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
The skies will become partly cloudy. It'll be hot and very humid today. Afternoon highs in the upper 80s to lower 90s, but we will be tracking scattered showers and thunderstorms developing through the afternoon and evening. Tomorrow, hot and humid again. Highs in the lower 90s. Severe storms likely for your Thursday afternoon and evening. I'm 7 News DC's Eileen Whalen.
77 degrees now at Reagan National. John Matthews, News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. Chris Plant.
You've been answered questions about whether you are moving closer, or you believe the U.S. is moving closer to striking Iranian nuclear facilities. Where's your mindset on that?
I can't say that, right? You don't seriously think I'm going to answer that way. Will you strike the Iranian nuclear component? And what time exactly, sir? Sir, would you strike it? Would you please inform us so we can be there and watch? I mean, you don't know that I'm going to even do it. You don't know. I may do it. I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do.
President Trump moments ago on the South Lawn at the White House, surrounded by a phalanx of Great American Construction personnel who had just installed the new giant flagpoles where the giant American flags will fly. Something that Joe Biden never would have done and Barack Obama never would have done. And then, of course, he saw it as an opportunity to hold another press conference, which he does, if not every day, then practically every day. I think Joe Biden held about 3 press conferences in his entire failed presidency. President Trump, practically every day, he exhausts the news media by answering all of their questions and occasionally mocking them and making fun of them, as the president just did there, and rightly so. Hey, I think it's like a Saturday Night Live skit from long ago. Can you tell us when you're going to start bombing Iran and what your targets will be? What planes will you use? At what altitude will they be flying at? From what direction will they be entering Iranian airspace? Because we of CNN and the New York Times, we're acting as agents for the Ayatollahs. And remarkable things going on. Well, a very, very good Wednesday to you, and welcome back once again. We remain at 888-630-9625, and a lot of back and forth between. Well, it's all the talk, of course, in Washington and beyond. Will President Trump enter the fray, the war between Israel and Iran? It seems that Iran has, they're taking shots at President Trump taking some shots back. Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel, has apparently, reportedly talked to President Trump about dropping some gigantic buster bunker bombs on an Iranian nuclear facility known as Fordo. And it can be spelled a couple of different ways, F-O-R-D-O, like a Ford automobile with an O on the end, or F-O-R-D-O-W. The Jerusalem Post goes with F-O-R-D-O-W, and the Associated Press with F-O-R-D-O. So your guess is as good as mine. But this is a Democrat, a Democrat-allowed nuclear facility deep underground, several hundred feet underground, with rock formations between the surface and the underground nuclear facility. If you saw the Tom Cruise movie, Top Gun Maverick, it was about taking out basically this facility. The filmmakers obviously got a briefing on Iran's underground nuclear facilities and on the fact that they still fly F-14 Tomcats all these decades later, too. Both elements in that movie, Top Fun, which again, my best girl and I saw at the IMAX theater at the Udvar Hazy Air and Space Museum Annex at the Dulles International Airport. And what great flying scenes, what incredible flying scenes, especially for IMAX. Wonderful stuff. F-18 jets, wonderful. But that's not important now. That's just a motion picture. The people out of this story is interestingly out of Bangkok for the Associated Press. What to know about bunker buster bombs and Iran's Fordo nuclear facility. And I say, if the U.S. decides to support Israel more directly in its attack on Iran, one option for Washington would be to provide the bunker buster bombs believed necessary to significantly damage the Fordo nuclear fuel enrichment plant, built deeply into a mountain, and with the permission of Barack Hussein Obama and John Boltneck Kerry, because they're not on our side. And the deal called the Joint Comprehensive Peace of Beep, the JCPOS. Such a bomb would have to be dropped from an American aircraft, which would have wide-ranging ramifications, including jeopardizing any chance of Iran engaging in Trump's desired talks, right, on its nuclear program. Israeli officials have also suggested that there are other options for it to attack Fordo in central Iran as it seeks to destroy the country's nuclear capabilities that were allowed by Barack Hussein Obama and John Boltneck Kerry under the JCPOS. But aside from a commando attack on the ground or a nuclear strike, and neither one of those seems to be in the cards, I would say, the bunker buster bomb seems the most likely option. Now, the bunker buster is a broad term used to describe bombs that are designed to penetrate.
Made in Canada.
Deep below the surface before exploding. You know, we have extraordinary capabilities when it comes to the bombs that we're able to make, and maybe we'll get into that a bit. But the Associated Press saying in this case, with the bunker buster for Fordo, it refers to the latest GBU-57AB. Now, GBU is a guided bomb unit, And we have GBU 27, GBU 29, and GBU 31, 2,000-pound bombs. But the GBU guided bomb unit 57 is a massive ordnance penetrator bomb. It's designed to hit rock and whatever you want it to be designed to hit. Listen to this. It is a 30,000-pound precision guided munition designed to attack deeply buried and hardened bunkers and tunnels, according to the U.S. Air Force. And I promise you that these 30,000-pound versions were designed specifically for these Iranian facilities. I can assure you that that is the case. And again, we have 2,000-pound bombs that are penetrators and GBUs, and 1,000-pound bombs that are penetrators. And sometimes you hit one, and then you got a second immediate follow-on or a delay and a second follow-on, depending on the targets. And we make bombs. For example, if the Iranians had a building and it was 12 stories high with steel reinforced concrete, and in the basement the Ayatollah had his bunker, and we decided we wanted to
listen.
The Ayatollah.
One time up on JC's, I got Jace. She didn't know it was me as the handle. I was using a sock account, and they were all talking about flat Earth, and Baba Yaga was complaining about logical. So I asked JC to ask her Siri or Alexa, whatever she uses, if the Earth is flat. So when she did it, the computer come back and said the Earth is mostly spherical. So somebody needs to ask their Siri or Alexa or whatever they have there. I know Papa Dickless uses one because he's a lazy fucker. Right? It's submarine duty, arduous duty. They get special pay, so they're a special force. Submarine duty is arduous duty.
And the bombs can be dropped one after another.
They cannot make you go to a submarine to work. You have to qualify for that.
And a B-2 stealth bomber can carry 2 of these. I'm a little out of the action these days, but
so all Patrick can do is wave his little fucking straight edge, pretend he's cutting my ears off. That motherfucker ever showed up at the bar up here like that, he'd be swimming in the Oswegatchie River. Well, he'd be sinking. He wouldn't be swimming because he wouldn't be moving. And nobody would give a shit.
Uranium used to be high enriched uranium at Fordo, raising the possibility that nuclear material could be released into the air if GBU 57 were to be used to hit the facility. However, Israeli
JC knows that I bring the excitement. Grumpy old men. Isn't there 3 of them in that movie? I never watched that movie, but Walter Matthau, he's from that generation.
Knowing that they would use them to build nuclear weapons to bomb the Jews and America, the Democrats under Barack Obama said that would be okay. It should not have been okay. It was the worst nuclear deal in the history of the world, and that's because Barack
What's his name that produces the movies? Blazing Saddles. Mel Brooks. They'd kick Mel Brooks out of Hollywood these days.
Only at the site itself, not the surrounding area, the IAEA has said. But this is an extraordinary situation that we have in front of us. Now, Fordo is Iran's second nuclear enrichment facility after Natanz, both allowed by Barack Obama and Bolton-Kerry as they continued to advance their ballistic missile program so they could kill everybody with nuclear weapons. And the Democrats shrugged and said, yeah, that's okay. We'll pretend it's a victory for us. We'll lie, and then the New York Times will lie with us. And CNN will lie for us. So Fordo, the second enrichment facility after the
Hey, Patrick Rowe, I see Sebastian was complaining that you never go up on a panel and all this shit, right? That motherfucker, he goes on a panel, but he blocks people in the side chat, and he talks shit about him. He won't turn his camera on. He punches holes in the sheetrock. He gets mad over chat when he doesn't get his own way, especially when JC called him out there. He come asking to borrow money, and then she let everybody know what he was doing. And you're a bum. You have a gambling problem, and you're out here fucking, I give you a 40% off on liposuction. Duh. Pretty much Steph and Sean kind of stifled you last night there, Sebastian. Why don't you bring your ass up here, Sebastian? You did one time before, and all you did is bitch. Come on up, Sebastian. Let's hear your genius. I'm going to take your liposuction fucking deal, and I'm going to stick it up DA's ass, and I'm going to suck out the rest of what little brain he has. That motherfucker jumping in the middle of this thing with Queen T. Now, maybe Wolfie's friends with DA. Maybe, you know, her and Zenny might appreciate it. You know, that could be possible. But I think Wolfie gives me more credit than she does that fucking idiot from Boston. Because you are an idiot, DA. Zeb's a chicken shit. Him and a high test, the thing with FDU. There's Logical and fucking Vegas spamming away. They just let them spam. Then Tiffany says, oh, Billy, you don't know how to make bots. On one hand, you're fucking complaining that I spam. I don't have bots. I don't use bots. And you fucking say, oh, you can't. You know, Tiffany, you fucked up bad. Because your channel's monetized. If I monetize my channel, I do the same thing I'm doing right now. Might time people out or whatever. Right now, Alpesh Patel is the only ban. Because he's an absolute useless motherfucker. He's of no use to anybody except for someone like Shannon.
He's held more press conferences in single weeks than Joe Biden held for his entire presidency.
They even suggested they come to the White House. It's a big difference. They've suggested.
Hey, girl, bragging she's got like 50 of my accounts blocked. But you still see me. You're still using another device. Yeah, I'm talking over the president right now.
There's a lot more, and then I look forward to getting to the Senator Ted Cruz and Tucker Carlson.
That's what I'm waiting for.
On this as well. From handcrafted steaks to family grilling favorites, Omaha Steaks, 5-generation family business, delivers the world's best steak experience for all your 4th of July grilling plans. And right now, during their 4th of July sale, you can save 50%, the entire website at omahasteaks.com. Plus, because we hang out,
you know,
get an extra
I don't know.
$5 off.
They stream Captain Spaulding and all that. I don't go there. I didn't hype it up like Wiggin did. That's Wiggins' deal. You'll never see me go into Lady Venom's chat to post for anything. It's fucking useless. She's a fucking total nitwit. A complete buffoon, that woman is. Yep. And she doesn't even have a panel. She doesn't run a panel. She just streams in YouTube. Well, anybody can do that.
Get fired up for the 4th of July with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off the entire website.
Well, Patrick, Dougie said he didn't care if I timed you out. So I noticed you're not really posting anything to try to aggravate me. Trying to aggravate Billy Hayden is not a good idea. Because I don't get aggravated. I'm not a grumpy old man. That's the irony about this whole fucking shit. Patrick's the one throwing the fucking fit, just like all the others.
There's only one Chris Platt.
That's why Sebastian and High Test and the whole fucking crew over there, all they have is Logical to spam the chat because DA does it Well, good for you. You have fun there. Lady, I don't have fun there. I don't go to Lady Venom's because she's an idiot. Why would I support her, chat? She said she has wished death on American military people. She's an idiot, Patrick. I know. Doug once said that's her. When I first met Doug and all that, that's her favorite. So, you know, it makes you look bad hanging out with her, Patrick. It really does. You're an idiot for fucking hanging out with that bitch. Sorry, Patrick. You could pick better friends than that. There's no having fun at Lady Venom's, chat. All she does is fucking cry and complain. She's an idiot. And you look bad going there. Of course, I don't look into her chat when she goes live. I have a couple of times. I've cloned her. But she's an idiot. So you want to be friends with an idiot and have fun with an idiot? You know, I know who, LV and Tiffany are stuck up each other's ass. That's fine with, I'm not going to knock you for that, Patrick. She's an idiot. I hope not. Because if you do, it makes you look stupid. Because that woman is a stupid woman. That is a one ignorant motherfucking bitch right there. Lazy. I don't know what college she went to. Rusty got the clip or whatever. Right? I could just see her in a classroom. Right? She's like Tiffany. Duh, humans are overpopulating the world. Duh. Hey, Mina, stop overpopulating the world. You got to terminate that pregnancy because, Tiffany and Lady Venom think the humans are overpopulating the world. We're going to kill the earth. They're fucking stupid. How fucking stupid is that? Seriously, Patrick, New York. I know you go to Tiffany's chat to have fun. That one's even worse than fucking what's her faces. She's fucking, you see her? She got totally fucking drilled in JC's chat. Yep. And Mammy Tammy fucking supports that shit. She's all up into Tiffany's fucking ass.
You can make them real and give a child back their childhood, even change the way they feel. Every single one of us can make the stars and
I can brag that it was my stream that caused Tammy to go up on JC's. I don't care if you're everywhere or not. So what? Big deal. So what, Patrick? What does that mean? You're everywhere. I could go everywhere if I wanted to. Anybody can. So what? Does it make you special that you're everywhere? What is that supposed to mean to me? You're everywhere. Well, I'm supposed to give you a wrench, Patrick? Is that your deal? Are you looking to get timed out, Patrick, or what? Did you want to click on my link and come up on the panel and talk to me personally instead of just in the side chat, Pat? How about I do that? How about I time you out? And if you want to talk to me, all right, Pat, if you want to talk to me, you click on that fucking link right there.
So Clark's toilet line is all I need to clean a toilet? You don't need a bottom solution.
Choose sides and what? What does that mean? What? Now you sound like Wiggin. He expects people to choose sides. Never asked you to join my side, Patrick. In fact, you go back to JC's if I timed you out. No, Billy timed me out. I'm famous. Billy timed me out. I get timed out. I'm everywhere. There it is.
I'm Richard Park, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the
Ain't nobody in my backstage. Go ahead.
Brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot.
Because I have no doubt you guys been on a panel before, and if you came up here, I'd recognize your voice.
All around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra durable Pocket Hose Copperhead.
My first thought is that was Wolfster up on my panel the other day with the fucking monkey with the green teeth.
Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text water to
I don't know. I'll post it again. Hey, there's a glitch. Okay. I don't know why it's doing that, but it does that for some reason.
Derek Hunter show. President Trump put the Ayatollah on.
Now let's see if that one works.
Will we do anything about it? We'll talk about it at 3:00 on WMAL.
Ain't nobody scared of you, Yee Yee. That's what that means. Yee Yee scared? No, ain't nobody scared of you.
Another big disappointment for the Democratic Party, who love child genital mutilation, because the United States Supreme Court, in a 6-3 ruling, that is to say 3 left-wing radical judges all voted that you should be able to genitally mutilate children for sexual purposes, because the Democrat Party is very unwell, very, very unwell. But the 6-3, and Michael Pearson, I go, 6-3 ruling, but it's not the predictable 6-3 ruling, right? No, it is. It's the predictable 6-3 ruling. And the 6 justices of the United States Supreme Court, they...
you were crying that I kept timing you out.
Together against the objection, over the objection of 3 left-wing lunatics. I still think Ketanji Brown Jackson, who doesn't know...
Click on my link.
That she should.
That's your only choice. Yee Yee skirt.
Cases involving gender.
It's your only choice
she doesn't
today.
Know what gender is, right?
I'm not going to allow you to post in my chat.
Doesn't that seem fair? But kind of
click on my link though, and I'll talk to you.
For trans rights, the Huffington Post writes, the Supreme Court upheld Tennessee's ban on gender-affirming care for minors. It's just minors again. It's just for children. They're not coal miners. They're underage. And the Democrats, all 3 Democrat nominees, they all have meat cleavers in their hands.
This is the Chris Plant Show.
I can prove to you it works.
Media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9.
I can prove to you it works.
News at 10:30. I'm John Matthews. As you just heard, the Supreme Court has upheld a Tennessee law restricting gender transition care for minors, delivering a major blow to transgender rights. The 6-3 ruling likely to have a broad impact, as 24 other states have already enacted laws similar to the one in Tennessee, which bars gender transition surgery, puberty blockers, and hormone therapy. President Trump told reporters outside the White House this morning he's still considering a U.S. military strike on Iran's nuclear sites. I may do it, I may not do it. Nobody knows what I'm going to do.
You know, Platt Clarkson, I'm everywhere because they cloned my mother. They cloned me. I've been in chats that I've never been to because of Wiggin and fuck you and all you guys cloning me. So it's not going to fly. You're not going to get away with it. Like I said, I can only get better at this.
This report is sponsored by Marlowe Furniture. Bring your style to life.
Sale upgrade and explosion of savings happening now at Marlowe Furniture. Save 60% off all furniture plus free delivery. Stylish living rooms, inviting dining sets, cozy bedrooms, and more at unbeatable prices. With our easy financing, you can shop now and pay later. Only at Marlowe Furniture.
Steve Hirshhorn in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
Around the Beltway now on the inner loop, still under speed. Braddock Road up to Gallows Road, then very heavy and slow from the Douglas Toll Road across the Legion Bridge into Full River Road on the inner loop along the left-hand side of the roadway. On the outer loop, you'll be slow from Georgetown Road down to the roadwork along the right after Carter Rock before the American Legion Bridge.
Let's see how this works.
Southbound, pretty heavy and slow right now from Route 1.
I can still hear it over here, though.
23, and after that,
But I don't hear the radio.
blocks the left lane. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Your AI is useless. They know that's not me. Anybody knows who Billy Hayden is, they know it's not me. Gotti's out there protecting me, and so aren't my angels. They know what's going on. They know the truth. So I have the moral high ground. Sorry.
hcp-myelofibrosis-treatment.com. Thanks for listening to the message from industry.
Hi, I'm Richard Card, and you may have seen me on TV talking about
That link must work because that's me.
Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and feed into water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-free anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting radio-exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and a 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your
I better plug this bitch in.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethouse.com/terms.
While serving in Iraq, our vehicle was hit. They didn't think I was going to make it. I'm Latoya Lucas, and I'm a veteran. I had to learn to live with the scars, both visible and invisible.
DAV helps veterans like Latoya.
It's fucking hilarious.
My victory is overcoming my wounds so I can help other veterans.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org. How's it going? I'm having a stroke. You want to shake my hand? Having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke. When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST, F, face drooping, A, arm weakness, S, speech difficulty, T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
WMAL, making sense of the vote because elections have consequences. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
Provide a definition for the word woman. Can I provide a definition? I can't. You can't? Not in this context. I'm not a biologist.
Yes, Ketanji Brown Jackson, Democrat nominee to the United States Supreme Court, should be required to recuse herself from any business before the Supreme Court having to do with gender, since she does not recognize the biological realities of gender, the science.
Will Durant's probably pretty mad right now after my appearance over at Zenny's chat.
Kagan, a little left-wing cartoon character, and Sonia Sotomayor, who is the spitting image of Jake LaMotta late in his career. You look at their photos side by side, it could confuse facial recognition programming. And then Ketanji Brown Jackson, who we're just listening to there. Joe Biden's pick, doesn't know what a woman is, should be required to recuse herself. Can I call her her? Can I call Ketanji Brown Jackson her and she? I don't know what her pronouns are. Also, did you see that yesterday she got a $2 million advance for a book that she has not written, because it's good to be a Democrat, and the New York publishing houses run by Democrats say, well, let's give her $2 million. No, not $2 billion, only $2 million, but $2 million as an advance for a book that she has not written yet. It is good to be a Democrat, isn't it? Ketanji Brown Jackson and Sonia Sotomayor and Elena Kagan, left-wing radical extremists. I wonder if the other two know what a woman is. But the story is a big one, a 6-3 verdict by the Supreme Court, a 6-3 decision by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court on Wednesday upheld Tennessee's ban on gender-affirming care for transgender minors, only for children. These are people that we call children. You're not old enough to rent a car. You're not old enough in some states to go to a tanning salon until you're 18 years old. Most places, I believe, you're not allowed to get a tattoo until you're 18 years old. But the Democrats want to harvest your genitals and put them in a mayonnaise jar and leave them on Funk and Wagnall's front porch starting at noon today. The Democrats, the justices' 6-3 decision in a case from Tennessee effectively protects from legal challenges many efforts by President Donald Trump's Republican administration and state governments to roll back protections for transgender people. Now, only 18, if you're 18 years old, you can chop off your genitals all you want. You can throw it into a bonfire in the middle of a Tesla fire in an intersection in Los Angeles, as Democrats are so fond of doing. But listen to this. Another 26 states, in addition to Tennessee, also have laws similar to the one on the books in Tennessee. And the Democrats are going around challenging. They'll challenge in every state because they've got child sexual obsessions. And they're demented child genital mutilation obsessions, because the Democrat Party has a lot of sexual issues and gender issues, particularly having to do with children and first graders and kindergartners getting transgender. What do they teach them? Twerking for kindergarten, transgender guys pretending to be women, twerking for kindergarten and first grade because the Democrats want to get them early. You know what their favorite college is? Brigham Young. Brigham Young? Yeah, Brigham Young. That was they got that from Michael Jackson, I think, and Neverland thing. Got the Brigham Young thing. So the decision comes amid a range of other federal and state efforts to regulate the lives of transgender people. No, including which sports competitions they can join. Boy, this is an incredibly corrupt media story here. This person should be fired. It's the Associated Press, Mark Sherman of the Associated Press. He's leaving a lot of words out that would appropriately be included if he were a legitimate journalist. But he's not. He's a left-wing. He might be a transgender. He might be a gender mutilator. Just amazing, these people. Yeah, so here's these outrageous rules. The lives, it's not to regulate the lives of transgender people, just children who are not allowed to make all kinds of decisions for themselves until they're 18. But the Democrats, they show up with meat cleavers and vacuum cleaners. Why vacuum cleaners? That's kind of weird, don't you think? So to regulate the lives of transgender people, including which sport competitions they can join. You mean whether they can cheat like East Germans during the Cold War at the Olympics? You people are demented. And which bathrooms they can use. They always minimize it by saying bathrooms, but really it's about locker rooms and shower rooms for your 13-year-old daughter. And they want men to go in there. So, hey, who brought the towel rack? That's not a towel rack. Oh, get me out of here. Unbelievable. These people, which bathrooms they can use. In April, President Donald Trump's administration sued Maine for not complying with the government's push to ban transgender athletes in girls' sports. That's Title IX stuff going back decades, generations. And you guys are demented, can I just say? The Republican president also has sought to block federal spending on gender-affirming medical care for those under the age of 19. And when you're 18, maybe you should have a little time to think about it, because it's your genitals, it's your life, it's your future, it's your family tree. Go ahead and climb your family tree and stay there for a while. Instead, promoting talk therapy only to treat young transgender people. You mean they might need to have a little talking to before you start filling them with steroids and chopping their genitals off? What do you think? But the Democrats are so demented. In addition, the Supreme Court has allowed him, meaning Trump, to kick transgender service members out of the military. Well, they're not going to be deployable if they're in the midst of their and also the Democrats say, join the military and we'll pay for for all of your mental illnesses and all the treatments and your genital mutilation. The taxpayers will pay for all of that because the Democrat Party wants the U.S. military to be part of a musical theater troupe. You know? One singular sensation every time I cut myself. Just amazing stuff. The Democrat Party. That's how one way to hollow out the military, to gut the military, to make the military ineffective. And so the Supreme Court said, yeah, you can kick trannies out of the military because and it's not why we have a military. Even as the court battles continue, says the Associated Press. The president also signed another order to define the sexes as only male and female. Oh my God, you mean like science? You mean like biology? You mean what every culture has known since dirt was new? Since long before the Romans built an aqueduct? Everybody's known this, and everybody knows it today. But this insane death cult that is the Democrat Party, just amazing. So you can't get a tattoo because you're not old enough. You can't rent a car because you're not old enough. You can't go to a tanning salon because you're not at the age of majority where you can make smart decisions for yourself. But when Democrats come along and grab you by the genitals and drag you into the girls' room when you're a boy and they bring a little, is it a chainsaw or just like a trimmer? What kind of a tool do they use? Amazing stuff. That is, and they're very angry at the Associated Press. So 6-3 ruling on the side of science, on the side of biology, on the side of culture, on the side of civilization, and the Democrats are furious about it. There may be fires burning today. You know, I think the first Democrat to self-immolate was the guy that self-immolated at the Supreme Court on Earth Day, 3 years ago now? And he burned himself to death because he didn't like the idea that people were putting smoke into the air. Huh? Yeah, I know. Yeah. They're not smart. They're crazy. And they're in charge of the Democrat Party and a lot of states in the United States of America. And then amazing. All right, now back to the biggest news of the day, which is bomb Iran or not. Little Beach Boys, little John McCain, Brian Wilson, and
this is my best guess so far.
And Brian Wilson, the Beach Boys, bomb Iran.
The old Beach Boys song, bomb Iran.
All right, now let me get back to President Trump on the South Lawn of the White House just a short time ago on the question of Iran and whether the United States of America will engage in military aggression against Iran, and in particular their underground nuclear facility that Barack Obama allowed them to maintain at a place called Fordow.
They had bad intentions. For 40 years, they've been saying death to America, death to Israel, death to anybody else that they didn't like.
That's true.
They were bullies. They were schoolyard bullies. And now they're not bullies anymore, but we'll see what happens. Look, nothing's finished until it's finished. War is very complex. A lot of bad things can happen. A lot of turns are made. So I don't know. I wouldn't say that we won anything yet. I would say that we sure as hell made a lot of progress.
Sure as hell made a lot of progress. President Trump at the White House just minutes ago, and of course, after talking about the new flagpoles, giant flagpoles for the giant American flags and the front and the back of the White House, the north lawn and the south lawn of the White House, then the questions naturally turned to the rumors that were flying all over Washington yesterday that President Trump was going to bomb the Fordow nuclear facility in Iran last night after it got dark, of course, and it did not happen. But the Israelis will tell you that this entire mission of theirs, it will not be a success if Fordow is not taken out, and that Israel will have a lot of trouble for, mechanical reasons. They don't have the bombs with the weight to punch through 300 feet of rock and dirt to get to the underground. Gee, why would, if they're just interested in medical research, Why would they build it 300 feet underground? As the Democrats have been lying to us and telling us President Trump.
Is there anybody here that said it would be okay to have a hostile, very, zealots really, but to have a hostile country have a nuclear weapon that could destroy 25 miles, but much more than that, could destroy other nations just by the breeze blowing the dust. That dust blows to other nations and they get decimated. This is just not a threat you can have. And we've been threatened by Iran for many years.
That's true from the very beginning. From the very beginning. Well, of this regime, 1979, when the Ayatollahs took over and the Shah of Iran was abandoned by Jimmy Carter and the United States of America, which led to this era, which is still ongoing because of Democrat Party Jimmy Carter weakness and not being, strong. It's a peace through strength, war and mayhem through weakness. The Democrats are war and mayhem through weakness. All right, now I want to get to let's go to Tucker Carlson and to Senator Ted Cruz, because this is a big deal. It's soundbite number one. Tucker Carlson and Ted Cruz on the question, should Tucker Carlson said, no, we should just let Iran build a nuclear arsenal. It's no business of ours. We'll contain them like we've contained the Soviet Union and China and North Korea. Why would we bomb them and not the rest? And Senator Ted Cruz is like, well, you can't allow radical Islamic jihadi terrorists to have a nuclear arsenal with ever-increasing, ballistic missiles with ever-increasing range.
How many people live in Iran, by the way? I don't know the population. At all? No, I don't know the population. You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple? How many people live in Iran? 92 million. Okay. Yeah. How could you not know that? I don't sit around memorizing population tables.
Well, I looked it up last night.
Because you're calling for the overthrow of the government.
Why is it relevant whether it's, because it's 90 million or 80 million or 100 million? Why is that
relevant? If you don't know anything about the country...
I didn't say I don't know anything about
the what's the ethnic mix of Iran?
They are Persians and predominantly Shia. Okay.
It's not even, you don't know anything about Iran. So
I am not the Tucker Carlson expert on Iran.
This is just beginning. And it gets more like that from here. And I want to share this with you in its entirety, this back and forth, which is pretty good stuff. And I got to say, Tucker Carlson has valid points that he just made there. I'm a big fan of Senator Ted Cruz, very smart man. But I got to say, our Congress, and if we're going to go into a war with Iran, we should have a talk. You know that the big wireless companies, you know who they are.
All right, that'll be next segment.
I tell you, it's time to switch.
Alvaro, you don't have no army.
Cellular.
And if you do, you're an army of fucking faggots. Go open your own chat. Or go bother JC.
It's not just about.
Oh, JC's probably not live right now.
Not being used by these giant mega corps, the cell phone companies to. Do you even know how much data you use every month? Because most people.
So Mark Levin's been right about Tucker Carlson. I don't watch Tucker Carlson. He got taken off of Fox News and all that, watching the shit that said when Rupert Murdoch died and his boys took over, Fox actually went to shit.
24 hours a day, even though you're not. Consumer cellular.
Besides that, once I started doing this stuff,
phone with a camera listen, it's so easy.
I haven't paid for cable TV, so I don't watch the networks anymore. I used to all the time. I quit doing that in 2017.
In some space platform. Real human beings who are incredibly helpful. It only takes about 20 minutes to make the switch. So give them a call and make the switch today. You'll save a lot of money. Be happy you did.
When they arrested me at that apartment complex.
0702. That's 1-800-760-00.
And I said, I'm not posting bail. You can put me in jail, drunken fucker.
It's kind of a big deal, I've got to say. Senator Cruz, Tucker Carlson, coming up.
I canceled.
To the Chris Platt Show.
Went into Facebook and YouTube, and now I'm a streamer.
Everything from
clothing to household items are getting more expensive each day.
Alvaro, your army is very inefficient. It's not an army. It's more like the Glee Club
Support American-made
for Latinos.
with American Giant. Get
So,
20%
not
off
sure where VB stands with you. I mean, she likes, at fucking LD Live. Hey, VB, I've been wanting to ask you that. If that was your daughter that he did that with, peeing on her jacket like that out of spite, even if she did piss in his bed, because that woman was probably stoned ass drunk,
Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot.
it's either that or he asked her to pee on him and then he wanted. You're an idiot, LD.
Water with ease all around your home. When you're all done,
And then you notice when I did go into Zenny's, all right, great come up, Terry B. Now, I was sitting there watching for a little while before I did that. What's your problem, Terry? Bradshaw, whatever your fucking name is. Fucking suck ass motherfucker. Oh, I'm getting free number. You don't know. It's something free.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Host. Messages will return
I never laughed so hard that night in JC's chat, and Terry B was out fishing or whatever, and Chell is the one who posted it. She'll deny it. She denied it, Chell, and you know it's true. You noticed how short that fucker is. He's a sawed-off fucking runt, that Terry B. He's a tiny little fuck.
Steal your eyesight, but it doesn't have to. Patients who seek care from a retina specialist.
There you go, Terry B. Hey, Tiffany, I'm talking about people who aren't in my chat. What are you going to do about it? Tiffany? You fucking cottage cheese ass motherfucking bitch. I don't like you, Tiffany, right now. God forgives, I don't. Go watch that movie. Has Terrence Hill in it. I like Terrence Hill. That one movie he played in where he rides around on a bicycle. I can't remember the name of it. That's a good movie. Been a long time. I can watch anything I want on YouTube. Another $15, I have the premium. Fuck you, YouTube.
That Shopify was a thing, I never turned back. I can create a site with my eyes closed. Shopify thinks ahead of us, and it thinks about the customer.
Listening to a radio station out of Washington, D.C., and they're talking about businesses advertising in my village. They said governor earlier. Governor. Look at it. Governor, not governor. Hey, DA, you fucking chicken shit motherfucker. Time is it? He's not going to get to the rest of the Tucker Carlson till after the fucking next segment. We'll see.
America. We are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit.
Oh, Rom, look at the poor little British boys, along with DA. Oh, he's a hunchback. And yeah, JC's called me hunchback. That could be JC for all I fucking know. I don't care. Is that you, JC? Must be. There's Coffee Man. Hey, Coffee Man, did you enjoy watching Queen T trip out? Is that funny? That's the funniest shit yet, right there. What Queen D, what that fucking dumb bitch did, and is doing. You're welcome to come up, Tammy. Just you and me. I won't let nobody out. Be just you and I. I doubt JC will want to come up and sit with us, but she's welcome too. She knows she is. Well, maybe JC will be nice enough and let you watch the stream. I don't know if she took it down or not. I don't go back and do that stuff. I just go by memory and just move on to the next.
SweetDeals.com lets you spend less and have more.
Where were you when I was getting high?
Restaurant, product, and entertainment deals. Plus, amazing vacation packages. Live large and save money while doing it. Go to SweetDeals.com today.
Relentless. Why you complain about clones and you fucking do it yourself? I don't believe it. You have sock accounts and you fucking pal around with people who do it. Relentless. Relentless.
And she hates America and loves the Ayatollahs, and she'd be in favor of dropping nuclear weapons on the United States. She's not with us. She's out there attacking Donald Trump and America while this war is going on between Israel and Iran.
We have a president who has deployed the military who are trained to kill our enemies, not Americans, but our enemies.
The National Guard.
In our streets. It's the same week that we are going to have a military parade. Can you imagine that image that is going to be coming out of our country? I mean, I grew up in a dictatorship.
No, you didn't.
And I don't even remember ever witnessing anything like that.
Yeah, you left Somalia when you were 8 years old, and your communist, socialist, militaristic father was part of the bad guy group there. Don't lecture me. There ought to be black scorpions crawling over your sunbleached bones
Ilhan Omar.
in the windswept sands of Somalia.
To have a democracy,
a democracy
for the world to now be turned into one of the worst countries where the military are in our streets without any regard for people's constitutional rights.
Stop rioting.
While our president spending millions of dollars propping himself up like a failed dictator with a military parade.
That's where they're getting it from.
You're a moron. She should be kicked out of Congress today. She should literally be expelled from Congress.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, it was the 250th birthday of the United States Army, the greatest army in the history of the world that has liberated and freed hundreds of millions of people around the world. You're welcome, including you and your despicable family, which should have black scorpions crawling over your sun-bleached bones.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington.
Wow.
Making sense.
Fucking laying dead in the desert somewhere. So what do you think, Tammy? You think that parade was for, they did that for Donald Trump on Saturday? Because he's a dictator? So are you going to call this man a dictator when he's out of office at the end of this term? Unless the states get together. You know, originally the Constitution, the presidency, you were limited to 2 terms. Washington didn't want a 3rd term. He didn't like the way it would look, like he was some type of, because they wanted to get rid of the king. All right. No man should rule over another man. No, we're all free. We all have the same rights given to us by God. And the earth is God. The sun is God. The stars in the sky is God. Because none of you fuckers can explain where we come from. But we're here and deal with it. And when Jesus Christ doesn't work, they call Billy Hayden. Yeah. Jesus Christ steps aside when I show up. Fuck you, Rum. Fuck you, Vanguard. I'll keep it limited to that right there. You too, Mad Jim. You playing both sides. You've been doing it. You think you're smarmy is what you are, Mad Jim.
So far. He tells 7 News when those routes are closed, evacuees can make use of Israel's extensive network of
Ooh, does Trump bother you? Are you mad because Trump is president now? Just think, if he didn't cheat, he'd be out of office, you dumb fucker. There'd be you never know. Kamala might actually be president.
Donald Trump and his cronies will spend
See?
so much money
Donald Trump and his cronies will spend so much money.
Jay Jones' victory speech last night while Jason Miara is telling WMAL's O'Connor Company.
It's a little bit.
My name is Booty Bandit.
And the job of the Attorney General of Virginia to be the people's protector.
I can just imagine the skank you fucking looked at,
Early
Booty
in-person
Bandit.
voting in Virginia begins in September. Barbara Britt, WMAL, and
You ever
WMAL.
notice that Tiffany doesn't turn around and give a real good ass shot all the time? Because through that spandex, you can see the fucking cottage cheese folds on her fucking cheeks. Cellulitis. Just cellulitis. She's never had a baby. I bet you she has more stretch marks on her belly than fucking Daughter Truth does. Daughter Truth had 4 kids. I'm sure she's got a few stretch marks down there. Because that's what happens to women when they have a baby.
Earlier than the current midnight
Usually.
start time on weekends.
Not all.
It would also
Some
include
of them. You
17-year-olds
get older,
who
they
aren't
show
now
up.
subject to the curfew. Heather Curtis on WMAL and WMAL.com.
The Dow's up 251. Nasdaq futures, or Nasdaq rather, up 121.
My mother was pregnant 6 times and had 5 kids.
Should be easy. But if you have
She had a
undiagnosed
miscarriage
COPD,
between
you
JC and
put yourself
Scott.
short of breath. Early diagnosis and treatment can add years to your life.
Who wash your filthy underwear? Okay, Randall. Okay, Will Durant. Hey, Will Durant, I hope you were watching Zennies yesterday.
Yellow toe fungus. You got to hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I
That
found for my
that
hands.
did my soul
It
good.
works from both the inside and
I don't
the
think
outside.
Zenny's gonna
Thousands
turn
of people
on
are
me.
using it to get
I'd have to
rid
do
of
something
toe fungus.
stupid.
You can check it out at crystalflush.com. Jake
And
started
you
off
see, I don't
with
do.
a small spot on
Unlike
his big toe and then
Wiggin
spread
thinks,
around
I'm not doing
his toe
stupid
was
shit.
nasty.
I welcome everybody in
He
my
was afraid
chat.
to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly
It's what you
toes
do
from
afterwards.
He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And
I
then
got your
he found
hunchback right here, Queen T Royal. I see her. Oh, Billy's got a hunchback. Did you see that stupid nigger bitch up on JC's fucking? What an asshole she made of herself. That's a fucking total idiot right there. That's what's wrong with America today. People like that.
They'll even let you try it risk-free, so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you
I
do,
can't wait to
don't
hear
let it get
fucking
worse.
Ted
You don't
Cruz
have to
put
live with this anymore.
old Tucker
Go check out
Carlson in it.
that
I'm gonna have to
at
fucking go into
crystalflush.com.
YouTube and look at it myself.
Sponsored by Rumble. Join millions who trust Rumble's top live streaming personalities to break down the news that matters in real time. Miss the live stream? Catch the full video replay on demand with zero censorship. Download the Rumble app from your Apple Play or Google Play store today and choose from thousands of creators covering everything from financial markets to daily events and more. Choose an open internet and free expression. Choose rumble.com.
Queen
today.
Bee so much wants to come up here on this panel and try to fucking put me in my place. She's fucking itching. She,
On 95
she
in
wants
Virginia,
to,
you
but
find
she
that pretty slow
knows
from one
she's
in
not going to
Woodbridge
get away with
down to
it.
133, and after that, after
She's
a brief break,
lost
slow
and
it
she
down
won't
to
admit her
Boulevard
lost.
down to 234. Dumfries
Queen
from
T
Road
needs to
Road
come up here and
Road
admit that
Road
Donald
Road
Trump's
Road
doing
Road
good for the
Road
country.
down 495 into
That's what
Lake
she
from
needs to
Dulles Toll
do.
Road across the
She talks about everything that's bad about him.
Parkway.
What?
Then the
There's
Outer
nothing
Loop
good
slows
about
from
him,
Georgia
Tammy? Is that
Avenue
what you're
east
saying?
down
Well, you're a
495
dumb
to
nigger.
Hampshire Avenue. Outer Loop is slow from Old Georgetown
Turn
Road
me
to
in.
Work Zone right before the
Get me
Legion Bridge
taken off.
along the right. Now from Garage
They
Sale
say that
Repair
word in your
downtown
music all the
WMAL
fucking
Storm
time.
7
Fuck you.
forecast.
Mostly cloudy, hot, and humid.
I have a right to
today
say it
with
if I want to
showers
say
and
it.
Thunderstorms possible and a high of 92.
I've been around people who are
It is
black that
79 right
you,
now at Reagan
you wouldn't
National.
believe the
I'm
jokes
John
I
Matthews.
fucking heard.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Make you cringe. Seriously.
105.9 FM and streaming
You're an idiot,
on
Tammy.
WMAL app.
So is it Michael. There's a beta boy right there.
How many people live in Iran, by the way? I don't know the population at all. No, I don't know the population. You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple? Okay, what's the ethnic mix of Iran?
They are Persians and
What percent?
predominantly Shia. Okay,
No,
this is
it's not.
okay.
You don't know anything about Iran. So
Okay,
actually, the
I am not
country-
the Tucker Carlson
No, but-
expert on Iran.
Yeah. Starting to get a little heated there. Senator Ted Cruz, Republican from Texas, and Tucker Carlson, who everyone knows from Fox News, perhaps most predominantly, and beyond. And I know Tucker Carlson. I like Tucker Carlson very much, and a smart guy, and major media. He's a media empire, wouldn't you say? I'd say so. Ted Cruz, who I like very much, and no, I mean, as I say out loud from time to time, That doesn't mean that I have to agree with them on everything, Senator Ted Cruz, or with Tucker Carlson for that matter. I think in America, I don't think I know anybody with whom I agree on absolutely everything. Or people who are friends, and hopefully my best girl, we're going to agree on most things, but probably not everything. It's called independent thinking, after all. But interesting stuff. And I've got to say, I was watching this video yesterday, and I had to start looking things up because, like Ted Cruz, I'm not an authority on the history and the culture of Iran. I know a thing or two, certainly, that I've picked up over the years. But you go look up the population, and some outlets say 85 million. 85 million. That's a lot of people. 85 million people. And some outlets say 92 million people. 92 million people. That's a lot. Now, Iran, any way you slice it, population greater than that of Germany, greater than that of France, greater than that of the United Kingdom, a population larger than Turkey, which is kind of a big one. Interestingly, Vietnam has a larger population. Vietnam has a population of more than 100 million people. And is that South Vietnam or North Vietnam? Who was that idiot Democrat who said, or was it a Supreme Court justice? Idiot Supreme Court said, North, and that was a Democrat member of the House, saying, North Vietnam and South Vietnam are two countries now living harmoniously side by side. So, well, one on top of the other one. And the Democrats don't know a lot about a lot. I found that to be interesting. Now, let's get back to Tucker Carlson and to Senator Ted Cruz in this, we'll just call it a lively back and forth. And Tucker Carlson challenged a United States senator and the senator is advocating that the U.S. become involved militarily in dropping bombs on this Fordo Iranian nuclear facility. And Tucker Carlson is taking him to task on this. And as a good member of the media should do, he's an elected official, a senior and respected elected official, Ted Cruz. So what do you know? You want to bomb Iran, you'd be in favor of regime change. Out of the White House today, the media is reporting nobody in the West Wing is talking about regime change. They're just talking about depriving them of the ability to enrich uranium, spin centrifuges, giving them the ability to construct nuclear warheads, which may be mounted upon the top of their ballistic missiles, and on and on. Now let's get back because Tucker Carlson. Well, what's the population? What's the ethnic composition? And I got to say, I looked that up yesterday because what would I know? And it's fairly complex, believe it or not, and it shouldn't be hard to believe. In Iran, the primary ethnic group is Persian. Been there for thousands of years. An extraordinary historic culture and a great history as a rule till the Islamists took over. I mean, going back to war with the Greeks, and they've got quite a history. But never mind that. It's primarily Persian. The second most prevalent ethnic group is Turks. And that's because the Turks invaded everybody for centuries and, beat the hell out of them and stabbed them all to death and enslaved them and stuff. But the Persians, number one ethnic group, the Turks, number two, the Kurds like Kurds and Way, the Kurds, the number three ethnic group. Then you got ethnic groups that you never heard of, like Lurs, L-U-R-S, and the Balochs, isn't that a slur in Great Britain, the Balochs, where they got the Balochs and the Gilaks, got all these ethnic groups, the Mazarandanis, the Kashis, then the Arabs become an ethnic group, then the Turkmens from Turkmenistan, a neighbor, not to be confused with the Turks, because the Turkmens, and they also have Turkawomens, but they don't put the Turkawomens in their names. They just have Turkmens. So there are a lot of different ethnic groups, some of which you've never heard of. And that's fair enough. The Talyashis, it could be because these are ancient cultures, ancient civilizations. And Ted Cruz, what am I, an expert on the ethnic groups of, living in Tehran? I don't think so. Also going to get a mailbag later in this hour. Tucker Carlson and Ted Cruz lively back and forth.
You're a senator who's calling for the overthrow of the government.
You're the one who claims
about the country.
No, you don't know anything about the country. You're the one who claims they're not trying to murder Donald Trump. You're the one who can't figure out if it was a good idea to kill General Soleimani, and you said it was bad.
They're trying to murder Trump.
Yes, I do.
Because you're not calling for military strikes against them in retaliation. If you really believe
we're
that,
carrying out military strikes today.
You said Israel was.
Right, with our help. I said we. Israel is leading them, but we're supporting them.
Well, you're breaking news here, because the U.S. government last night denied, the National Security Council spokesman Alex Pfeiffer denied on behalf of Trump that we were acting on Israel's behalf in any offensive capacity.
We're not bombing them. Israel's bombing them.
You just said we were.
We are supporting
This is
Israel.
high stakes. You're a senator. If you're saying the United States government is at war with Iran right now, people are listening.
Okay.
Well, and this is that is a more or less semantic, I've got to say. Certainly, we have provided Israel with a great deal of hardware, the airplanes they fly, the bombs they drop, and on and on. But they're having this back and forth. And Tucker's smiling. Ted Cruz smiling less than Tucker. Tucker's having a kind of good time challenging him. And I got to say, our news media should be challenging. And it's true that it has been widely reported that Iran has, we arrested, two guys in New York that were here to assassinate Donald Trump. They've been plotting to assassinate Donald Trump. Not as much as the Democratic Party. Members of the Democratic Party have been attempting to assassinate Donald Trump, but never mind that. And the murder Trump thing is kind of a big deal. And President Trump is still saying, if we hit him, we're going to hit this nuclear facility at Fordo buried deep underground, because Israel can't do it themselves because of certain military limitations, and we might have to do that. Now, Ted Cruz and Tucker Carlson.
Does Mossad share all of its intelligence with us?
Oh, probably not, but they share a lot. We don't share all of our intelligence with them, but we share a lot. It's a close alliance.
Do they spy domestically in the United States?
Oh, they probably do, and we do as well. And friends and allies spy on each other. And I assume all of our allies spy on us.
And that's okay with you?
You know what? One of the things about being a conservative is that you're not naive and utopian.
And it is true. The British, everybody wants to know what we know, because we know more than anybody else, because we have trillions of dollars and constellations of satellites in space and underground listening. And beneath the sea, we've got cables that eavesdrop beneath the Atlantic Ocean and beneath the Pacific. We know more than anybody else. And if you're another government that wants to know a lot, rather than spending trillions of dollars yourselves and building constellations of satellites and underwater networks, you spy on us. And that has been going on forever and ever. I spent 10 years, my office in the Pentagon, covering the U.S. military and the U.S. intelligence community, and picked up a thing or two along the way. And that's all true. Everybody spies on us because it's cheaper and it's more direct line to the intelligence that we have. Easy cheating, not just the Chinese and the Russians, but it's true. NATO allies are 10. We share a lot, but not everything. And they want to be the smartest guy in the room. Ted Cruz and Tucker Carlson.
Part of the reason socialism doesn't work is the mantra from each according to his abilities to each according to his needs doesn't work. As a conservative, I assume people act in their rational self-interest.
So it's conservative to pay people to spy on you?
It's conservative to recognize that human beings act in their own self-interest, and every one of our friends spies on us.
I don't think we pay them to spy on us, but it's true that we pay them and then they spy on us. But there's that. And these are all good questions and debates, discussions that should be had in public.
Do you like it? That's my question. I'm not asking whether they have motive to do it. Of course they do. I understand that. And
by the way,
I'm not mad at that. And you're an American lawmaker, so I just want to know, hold on, I want to know your attitude. You said that your guiding principle, in fact, the only principle, the only criterion.
I said guiding, the overwhelming, I wouldn't say only.
Is it in America's interest? Is it in America's interest for Israel to spy on us, including on the president?
It is in America's interest to be closely allied with Israel because we get huge benefits for it.
Well, and it's civilization versus the death of civilization. The Ayatollahs equal the death of civilization. Radical Islamists equal the death of civilization. This is why we can't just be casual about them securing an arsenal of nuclear warheads when Barack Obama also gave them plane loads of cash to build up their ballistic missile program so they could deliver those nuclear warheads and blow up, well, people like us, because the Democrat Party, they're not on our side, Ted Cruz and Tucker Carlson.
I just want to stop on this line for a second. That it takes place, as you know, and including on the president of the United States and several precedents. And I just want to know if that's okay and why is it okay? Wouldn't an American lawmaker say to a client state, you're not allowed to spy on us? I'm sorry. I know why you want to. I'm not mad at you, but you're not allowed to. Sure. And I don't care for it. I don't want to be spied on by you. Is that, it's kind of weird not to say that, but you don't seem able to say that.
And nice fun back and forth. Alive. I know that's all American stuff. And Tucker Carlson didn't trot out big political views or any of that good stuff. But the back and forth was a lot of fun and worth having that back and forth. And it's true, our lawmakers should be taken to task on these matters, including Ted Cruz, who I like very much and admire very much. Peter Doocy reports for Fox News at the White House, and there are a lot of questions. Do you go after the Ayatollah? Do you just hit the nuclear facility underground at Fordo?
A U.S. official is telling us just in the last few minutes since your interview concluded that President Trump did, in fact, in the last couple of days, nix a plan that the Israelis were putting together to assassinate the supreme leader of Iran.
Now, I keep going back to the WHO and Bob O'Reilly, meet the new boss, same as the old boss, only worse. The Ayatollah is apparently in failing health and kind of gone underground. There were reports yesterday that Stinky, my old pal Stinky Ahmadinejad, I always called him, his name is Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. I always called him Stinky. He's famously stinky. He smells bad. And Ahmadinejad is what I always called him because it's more fun than Ahmadinejad. So Stinky Ahmadinejad, according to reports, was shot in the head yesterday and assassinated. But then there was no more news about that, so it's unclear whether that's true or not. The great one, Mark Levin, talking about this last night.
The Israelis are going to put an end to this forever war, and so will Donald Trump. Then I hear the questions, well, how much does the United States want to get involved? Well, I don't know. They want to have intercontinental ballistic missiles to hit the United States with nuclear warheads. How do we know? They've said so, death to America. And they said that's not a slogan, that's a reality. Really?
And they write on the warheads, death to the great Satan and death to America, of their ballistic missiles before they fire them. And they're building underground, 300 feet underground, spinning centrifuges, enriching uranium, so they can make an arsenal of nuclear warheads, which they've promised to use, and we should take them at their word because they're criminals.
They want intercontinental ballistic missiles. This is plain English. Plain English. They want nuclear warheads, and they're going to hit us with them. Okay. I'm a warmonger because I think that these 7th century primitive barbarians with 21st century technology should be removed so that we can protect our country.
I'll tell you what I think about all this coming up and what I think perhaps President Trump, and I'll include the word perhaps, should do or might do when it comes to Iran and nuclear weapons. Got that coming up. You know that and the mailbag today too. A recent bombshell medical report revealed that the abortion pill is literally 10 times more dangerous than the FDA has told us, with 11% of women, more than 1 out of 10, experiencing serious adverse effects from the abortion pill. Horrifyingly, it's also been reported the abortion pill accounts for more than 60% of abortions in the United States, with an average of more than 1 million babies aborted every year. That means 66,000 American women could be permanently harmed by the abortion pill just this year alone. This is what the Democrats call health care. That's a euphemism. Now, let me tell you what real health care looks like. The good people at the Preborn network of clinics across the country actually helped to save 67,000 human lives, unborn babies, last year alone. Because once a woman sees the baby living inside of her, hears the heartbeat, sees the little fingers moving around, the baby's chance of living a long and happy life actually doubles. One ultrasound is just $28, and $140 helps to rescue 5 unborn babies. Any gift will help, and all your gifts are tax deductible, of course. To donate, all you have to do is dial pound 250, very easy, and when prompted, say the keyword baby. That's pound 250, the keyword is baby, or go to Al Gore's amazing internet to preborn.com/plant. That's me, preborn.com/plant. All right, we've got a lot coming up, and the mailbag. Don't go anywheres.
There's only one Chris Plant. The Chris Plant Show. News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you got to hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflush.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe, and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflush.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflush.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free, so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflush.com.
Support American-made tariff-free clothing with American Giant. They aren't affected by tariffs because their clothing products never left the U.S. Get 20% off your first order when you use promo code STAPLE20 at American-Giant.com.
Making sense of your money, the state of the economy, the ability to afford your life. That's what people want. WMAL's Vince Colonnese, weekdays at noon. The kind of thing I pay attention to, I'm looking at. News Talk 105.9, WMAL, making sense of the news. The United States Soccer Federation presents the U.S. Soccer Podcast.
The United States have the lead.
The United States in full command.
And didn't she enjoy that one?
Never miss a game.
Look at the pace she puts on this ball with that little slip run. Great first touch.
Never miss a moment.
Get a hold of it.
The back of the net.
Great goal for the United States.
Yeah.
The U.S. Soccer Podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Bright Focus Foundation's Alzheimer's Disease Research Program is paving the way for a cure. Learn about symptoms, diagnosis, and breakthrough research at brightfocus.org or call us at 1-855-345-6237 for free resources. With the American Express Platinum Card, you can unlock over $1,500 in value annually with statement credits on select purchases and other benefits. That means getting access to even more of your favorite things. More jet setting, more trend setting, and more resetting. And downward dog. The stage is set for you to do even more with the American Express Platinum Card. Learn more at americanexpress.com/US/explore-platinum. Terms apply.
Hey, 20 would you bid 30, 30 would you bid 40. That's the sound you're going to hear at the next Brostech auction. Hi, I'm Bernie Brostech of Brostech's Real Estate Auction Company of Baldwinsville, New York, and I have 40 years of proven experience in selling antiques, businesses, estates, households, residential and commercial and waterfront real estate. Call me at 678-2000 for a free, no-obligation consultation and find out how you can receive top cash price for your real estate and personal property in one day the Brostech auction way. And it's sold.
We all know that owning a small business means you wear many hats, but sometimes you really need an extra pair of hands. Upwork is how good companies find great and trusted freelance talent. With more than 2 decades of experience with a simple and ambitious goal of pioneering a better way of working, Companies at every stage turn to Upwork to get things done and find more flexibility in staffing key projects and initiatives. They access a global marketplace filled with top talent in IT, web dev, marketing, and more. Posting a job on Upwork is easy. With no cost to join, you can register, browse freelance profiles, get help drafting a job post, or even book a consultation. From there, you connect with freelancers that get you and can easily hire them to take your business to the next level. Visit Upwork.com today and post your job for free. That's Upwork.com to post your job for free and connect with top talent ready to help your business grow. That's UPWORK.com. Upwork.com.
Hey, I'm Reba McEntire. In life, you'll hear a lot of people tell you that you can do anything you want. I'm here to tell you that's true. Since I was a little girl, I dreamed of becoming a successful singer and entertainer. It took a lot of hard work, dedication, and perseverance to find my success, but it was worth it. I never gave up on my dreams. Remember, you can never have a dream come true until you've had a dream. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
When you get hurt at work, Carruthers and Clough goes to work for you. They're researching, interviewing, gathering facts, and doing all they can to help you get back on your feet. They work and you recover. You can focus on getting healthy and returning to work because Carruthers and Clough are doing the hard work for you. Ask a friend, ask your family, who would they call for help with workers' compensation? Carruthers and Clough. Go to nylawcc.com and contact Carruthers and Clough. We work, you recover.
WMAL's Vince Colonnese, weekdays at noon on 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
All right, let's grab a phone call before we get back to, war, peace, nuclear weapons, and the mailbag. Let's go to Sammy, calling from Gaithersburg, Maryland. Just dropped off. Sammy just dropped off right on cue. Isn't that always the way? Let's go to Sean, calling from Winchester, Virginia. Sean, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
How are you, sir?
I'm great, Sean. What do you say?
Oh, yeah, I was wondering why I didn't hear anything about Nostradamus' predictions about a man. I saw a movie, and it was narrated by Orson Welles. Mm-hmm. And he said there was a man in outer Persia, which is Iran, who would launch a war against the West on a higher scale. And the first city destroyed, he gave the latitude and longitude, and it was New York City.
Huh.
Have you heard that?
That Nostradamus guy, he made all kinds of predictions that have been subjected to various interpretations. And certainly Orson Welles, I do remember this film. I haven't seen a blink of it in years and years. But I don't put too much stock in Nostradamus and his predictions, but they're fun. And the Persians have been waging war against, the Greeks and everybody else for thousands of years. So none of it would surprise me, certainly, and we should be taking it seriously.
This is the Chris Plant Show. WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now.
WMAL News at 11:30. I'm Heather Curtis. Breaking this hour, Virginia State Senator Ghazala Hashmi is declared the winner of the Democratic primary for lieutenant governor, beating out 5 other Democrats for the nomination. The race was close. She got 27.4% of the vote, according to the AP. Former Richmond Mayor LeVar Stoney, 26.6%. He conceded this morning. Hashmi will face off against Republican talk radio host John Reed, who ran uncontested. Iran's supreme leader says he will not surrender after President Trump's Truth Social post calling for unconditional surrender. President Trump responding this morning.
Say good luck.
As the president considers U.S. military intervention, the supreme leader warns that if the U.S. does get involved militarily in the conflict with Israel, there will be irreparable damage. The president says nobody knows what he'll do. Traffic and weather next.
This report is sponsored by the International Hot Rod Association.
The International Hot Rod Association Outline Drink Series is back. 5 events, 3 locations, explosive season, funny cars, promos. You are in the stands. Get your tickets now at IHRA.com. IHRA.com.
Here's Steve Hirschhorn in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
On the inner loop of the Beltway, northbound 495, very heavy and slow right now from the Dulles Toll Road across the American Legion Bridge to construction that's after Cabin John Parkway in the left lane. The inner loop is also very slow now from Georgia Avenue to the work zone that is before New Hampshire Avenue, blocking one right lane. Other direction, outer loop accident, St. Barnabas Road, watch for delays there. The outer loop is also slow from Old Georgetown Road across the Legion Bridge. In that backup, the road work is right before the bridge along the right. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Today, hot and humid, scattered afternoon showers, highs in the lower 90s. Right now, 83 in Washington. I'm Heather Curtis on WMAL.
Here's a brief message from industry. This ad is brought to you by GSK. We invite you to visit hcp-myelofibrosis-treatment.com to explore data and resources. That's hcp-myelofibrosis-treatment.com. Thanks for listening to the message from industry.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
At Grand Canyon University, we believe in equal opportunity, and the American dream starts with purpose. By honoring your sacred vocation of education, you impact your family, your friends, and your community. From teaching pre-K through 12th grade students to educational administration, GCU's online bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degree programs can help you reach your goals. Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Visit gcu.edu. Initial teacher licensure programs are not available in Kentucky.
Everything from clothing to household items are getting more expensive each day. American Giant is about keeping things simple and close to home. They aren't affected by tariffs because their products never leave the U.S. Support American-made tariff-free clothing with American Giant with American Giant. Get 20% off your first order when you use promo code STAPLE20 at American-Giant.com. That's 20% off when you use code STAPLE20 at American-Giant.com.
Hi, I'm Vince Gallaneys, host of The Vince Show and Vince Podcast. It's a show with an obsessive focus on what's good for America. I'll give you the truth beneath the headlines of all of the nation's top stories. The Vince Show is redefining news talk with in-depth interviews, live caller interactions, and a front row seat to the most important conversations of the day, every day. The Vince Show and Vince Podcast.
WMAL's Vince Gallaneys, weekdays at noon. News Talk 105.9. WMAL, making sense of the news.
Hi, Tom Selleck here. I've spent my whole life making choices I can stand by. And when it comes to protecting my money, I choose Goldco. Look, I gotta tell you, not all gold companies are the same. A friend of mine recommended Goldco, and I gave them a try. They make it easy, secure, and most importantly, they put you first. So, if you want to learn more, visit tomlikesgoldco.com.
WMAL, making sense of world events, because those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
All right, and it is now mailbag time, because Wednesday, hump day in the Clinton household, mailbag day.
I have things I want to get done, so I'll be back later.
And
I gotta go
earlier because a friend of mine who lives on the Space Coast in Florida, my friend Tom